This is a video for both photography and design students on how to make a clipping mask in Photoshop. What we're going to do is we're going to take Daisy Lee and we're going to chop her out so that then she can be put into any kind of surreal landscape that Shana wishes to. What we do is we go Control +++ until we can see the pixels. Use our space bar to move it around. I'm going to start down on her hand, and what we're wanting to do is on our toolbox we're going to want to use a little pen tool that looks a bit like a calligraphic pen. We're going to start, if you have a look over here on the layers window, we've got layers, channels and paths, and what we're effectively going to do is make a path, and we're going to do it in a few chunks just to show you what to do. So I'm going to just start anywhere, tap once, and then if you take your hands off, there's a tiny itty bitty point that's the beginning, and look, take my hands off, and so here it is, that little point. And so what I'm not doing is clicking and dragging, my hands are off the mouse. So now coming down here, I'm going to now click and hold, and as I hold, I'm going to bend. Now it's really hard to see, I don't know, can you see it particularly well, Shana? You need to, what you're trying to do is bend a little anchor so that, yeah, you can see that, so that this line between points follows the shape. Generally what's going to happen is if your black cursor, see I'm still clicking and holding, goes in the direction of your next click, that will be the right direction, but because this is a little hump of a knuckle, we need to then bring it down a little bit. So I'm going to go click. Now if I went and did my next click over here, that's going to drag it down, which is just fortunate because that's what we want. And I just tapped once, now I'm going to click and drag and trying to get that anchor to go around the knuckle. Spacebar will allow you to move, and I'm just going to keep clicking, moving forward, tap, drag, click, tap, drag, click, spacebar to move it around, tap, drag, click. So what you're wanting to do is to get in that little fluffy zone between the background and the subject, but I'm trying to get rid of the green. And I'll just keep saying tap, drag, click over and over again so that when you do it, you think tap, drag, click, tap, drag, click. I'm getting a little bit of green, but if it's a problem later on, we'll rub it out, but I'm thinking that Shana's probably going to be putting her into a natural environment like forest or scenery, so it's probably not going to really matter. Tap, drag, click. Now what I'm looking for now, a little bit of a fingernail, so we want as much detail as we can. At some point we're going to run into a little problem where the anchor we create, tap, drag, click, it's going to go off in the wrong direction. I don't want you doing it like this. Watch this for a moment. Tap, 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 because then what you get is a series of straight lines. It won't be natural. I'm going to go into my history and just go back. I want you going nice big jumps, tap, drag, click, tap, drag, click, and trying to jump as far as you can to get the shape. I'm going to keep going tap, drag, click, space bar, click, tap, drag, click, until we get to a point where I need to get rid of my anchor. I'm hoping that at some point my little anchor is going to become a problem. Here's a nice long straightaway. Oh, not so good. Control Z. I need to get this curve in here better. Tap, drag, click, tap, drag, click. Trying to get rid of that green. If you do a click and everything's pretty good but it's just about 3 pixels out, you can use your arrows on your keyboard to nudge it up and it won't affect your path. Your path can keep going. So the arrows are really good for doing little nudges. Tap, drag, click. Nudge, nudge. Oh, Control Z. I need to go back a point and add one in here. So you've got your history out so you can go back, and you've got one Control Z that you can use. Alright, now I'm hopefully going to get into a point where I can show you what to do when you want to get rid of one of your anchor arms. No, it's all behaving very well, unfortunately. As much detail as you can. Tap, drag, click. Tap, drag, click. Oh, stink, man. I'm not getting any... It's all perfect, Shana. I'm hoping to get an example of what to do when your arrows get in the way. So we'll try and make some. I'll try and... Oh, no, everything's working too well. Okay, go like this. All right, if you have an anchor arm, can you come in close so you can see that? If you get an anchor arm and then you do your next click, and what happens, can you see that bow there? What happens is this arm magnetically draws the bow out. And you go, no, that's not good, try that again. No, it's still bowing it out, Control Z. You're like, what do I do? What you have to do is get rid of that anchor arm. So you press Alt on your keyboard, come to the middle, and it will get rid of the anchor arm, and then you can carry on again. Now I've done quite a lot of her, and I didn't mean to do this much, but the bell is about to go, and I have to stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chomp into her middle, right down the middle of her, and come all the way, Control plus plus, back to her where I've started. When I come back to where I've started, I have to join my paths. So I go and I hover over there and a tiny little circle appears, and that means I have closed my path. And that's all I'm going to achieve in this hour-long period. So what I need to do then is to make sure I save that, and if you look over here in your layers window, your path will save. So when you open it up the next day, that path is there. So when you're ready to carry on, what we need to do is we now need to make a clipping mask out of this section. So down at the bottom of your path window on your menu is a dotted circle. I'm going to click that dotted circle, and that will make this become a selection, an active selection. On my menu, I'm going to go back into layers, and I'm going to pick up my background layer copy, and my background, and come down, and next to the rubbish bin, I'm going to make a background layer copy. Come in close here, Shana. On here, I'm going to turn my background off, so the only thing that's active is my background layer copy. At the bottom down here is a little rectangle with a circle in the middle, and I'm going to click that. Now what's happened is it's done a really good stamp, but if you look in that layer, all it is a mask. I actually want to apply that mask. So I come up here on my menu, I go Layer, Layer Mask, Apply, and as I click Apply, look what happens over here. All that excess information that we don't want is gone, and what we have here is the beginning of a really beautiful clipping mask. Tomorrow, I'd carry on cutting a bit more, and in a double period, you'd easily finish a whole one. And that's how you do a layer clipping mask.